Hey, it's Liv, welcome back to my channel Endless Pages, and today's video is going to be my TBR for the month of March. So I'm really excited about this one because I'm taking part in the readathon, the Role of Reads readathon created by Mel from a book themed named Mel. I'll link her announcement video, her channel, the Twitter page for the readathon in the description in case you want to take part in this readathon as well, which I would really recommend because it's so creative and such a fun way. I really had fun filming this one. Just a super quick explanation. So as you'll see in the footage, I have 20 prompts lined up face down, and I roll a 20-sided die. And as an example, if I roll 3, I would pick up the third prompt and find a book that matches that prompt. Mel left it up to you to decide how many rolls you're going to do. You could roll a die to decide how many books you were going to read, or she said if you want to choose, you can choose. So I just decided to go with 5, well, I wanted to go with 5 reads because that's my typical amount of reads that I read in a month, and I'm a bit slumpy, so I don't think I'll be able to read any more than 5 books in March, but you'll see what happened there. Roll didn't go to plan. I rolled a 1, and that means you add another roll onto your list, which is just great. Not particularly how I wanted to start, but that's okay. The prompt for number 1 I got was a borrowed book, so I didn't have time to go to the library because I'm just filming this super last minute, if at night, if you can't tell by this horrendous lighting, and instead I just decided to borrow a book from the library electronically. Still counts, right? So I borrowed from my library's e-resources They'll Never Catch Us by Jennifer Goodman. This is a young adult thriller. I really want to get into reading more thrillers, but I don't really know where to start in adult, so if you have any good adult thriller recommendations, I'm all ears. So I thought starting off a thriller in the genre of YA, my favourite genre, a genre I'm comfortable reading and don't find challenging, I thought it would be a good way to jump into the genre of thrillers. So I don't know much about this book. The reason I picked this one is because I've seen it in bookshops a lot and it's caught my attention a couple of times. Like picked it up and put it back down, and I just don't know if it's going to be for me, so I thought borrowing it from the library for free would mean it would be no wasted money if I didn't enjoy it. Super quickly, the plot is just about 2 sisters, and they're both on their school's like cross-country team, and they're both like really competitive and trying to win the top spot on the team. And the 2 sisters are really different. One sister is Stella, and she's really single-minded, really driven, and won't let anything get in the way of her cross-country. And then we have the other sister, Ellie, who's really talented, but she has her own kind of personal life and likes to party and have friends as well. So that kind of makes their relationship a bit complicated. And then there's this new girl that comes and is now very big competition for the sisters for the top spot. Her name is Mila. Mila goes for a run one day and just like never comes back. So because of this, all eyes and the attention are on our sisters kind of as suspects. Read a book with LGBTQIA representation. For that, I chose a highly anticipated read of mine, This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Motar and Max Gladstone. So the reason I picked this book up is because I kept seeing all these beautiful quotes, and I found out that they were all from this book. Quotes are all over my Twitter, and I was like, this sounds beautifully written. So I had to get it, and I saw it in the bookstore one day and I was like, it's a sign, like I need it. So this is a science fiction book, and basically we have 2 warring factions, and we have 2 people on the different sides, called Red and Blue, and they start a unlikely correspondence, and it kind of starts off as kind of, what do they call it, it's like taunting each other, and then it slowly starts to grow into something a bit more romantic and epic. And the discovery of their bond will mean their deaths. There's still a war going on, and someone has to win that war. I got the prompt, read a book that takes place on an island. Australia. Australia is an island, and I keep saying time and time again, I need to read more Australian books. So this book is written by an Australian and set in Australia, set in Western Sydney more specifically, which is in New South Wales. This is Honeybee by Craig Silvey. You might recognise the author. He wrote the book Jasper Jones, which was turned into a movie, and I read the book and it was really good. So I just kind of picked this up because same author. I believe it's about a friendship between two people, a 14-year-old called Sam and they describe him as an old man Vic, and they see each other across this bridge one night. Both, I believe, are about to commit suicide. So they kind of grow this fateful connection, and we learn throughout the book what led Sam and Vic to the bridge that night, and they're bonded by their suffering. Each privately commits to the impossible task of saving the other. So our main character, Sam, is a resilient young man battling to navigate the world as their true self, ensnared by loyalty to a troubled mother and scared by the brutality of a domineering stepfather and confounded by the kindness of new alliances. So yeah, it's about two lives forever changed by a chance encounter, one offering hope, the other redemption. So this sounds like a beautiful story and I'm very, very intrigued. Number 4, I got the prompt, read a book with plus size rep. So I actually really struggled with this, and this is because when I did some research, majority of the books that came up with plus size rep were contemporary and contemporary romance books, which is something I do not read. And I went looking for fantasy books with plus size rep and really struggled to find any, or if any, that caught my interest. So if you know any great fantasy or any books that are not contemporary romance that have plus size rep, I would love to read them. So again, if you have any good recommendations, leave them in the comments. The only book I could think of was Six of Crows duology. The character Nina is plus size, but I've already read that. So I, in my research, found a really cool sounding webtoon that has plus size rep, and I've been, ever since I read Law Olympus, I've been looking for more webtoons. I didn't know they were a thing, and I really love the idea of them now. So I found a webtoon. It's called Brimstone and Roses, and the summary is, I don't know how you pronounce this name. Is it B or BR? It's BA. Let me know how you would pronounce it. So it says she's over her ex, absolutely completely over her, except that she's not. When she finds out that her ex is also attending her sister's wedding, she does what any logical person would do and summons an incredibly hot, sarcastic demon to be her date. But demons are tricky, and now hers won't leave her alone. This sounds really fun and cute, and I was just happy to find one that wasn't a contemporary romance and had plus size rep. Also, the art looks really, really cool, and it looks like there's 2 seasons. So it looks like I'm going to have a lot of fun and a lot of content to get through. Number 5, I got do a buddy read. I'm doing a buddy read with my friend Laura. So this is actually her copy of the book, The Goblet of Fire, by J.K. Rowling. So she gave me the whole set of these books like 2 years ago, and I've never returned them, so I'm really sorry. But she's a massive, massive fan of the Harry Potter series, and she's always wanting me to read, and she's listening to the audiobooks again, so I'm going to read along with her. I started the Harry Potter series for the first time last year, and I'm finding it like, alright. I don't know if I'm just too late, I've missed the boat, but I'm determined to continue on and finish the series. So I really need to start back up again. So I'm going to do that with Goblet of Fire. Number 6, I got the prompt, read a book that is mentioned in the show Gilmore Girls, which I thought is such a cool and creative reading prompt. For that one, I am going to be reading a classic, which I don't normally read, but this is one classic that I do want to get to, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This is basically about a girl called Rebecca. She works as a companion to an old lady, and then she goes on a trip to France. She falls in love with this guy called Maxim, and he proposes to her, and she's like, okay. So then they move to his Cornish estate, and she realizes that she barely knows her new husband at all, and in every room of the house is the phantom of his beautiful first wife, Rebecca. I hear everyone say that this is one of the classics that you need to check out. And it's a classic written by a woman, so that encourages me a little bit to read this book. I really want to get over my, not hatred of classics, but maybe my like fear, and I'm a little bit intimidated by them. So I'm going to check this out, plus the cover is beautiful. I really hope I like this, because a lot of people say it's great. So that's my 6 rolls, my 5 including my extra one, but I still need to talk about one more book. So I'm participating in the War Readathon, which I'll leave in the description of course. And none of the prompts fit this book, which is great. So now I've got to read 7 books in March, which is very intimidating. So in March, the readathon is up to the 3rd and final book in the Poppy War trilogy, The Burning God. This trilogy is by R.F. Kuang. I think I've described this series about 1,000,000 times in my videos, so I'm not going to talk about it again. And obviously I can't tell you what this is about because major spoilers. This is a series that has completely shocked me with how much I am absolutely obsessed with it. I am absolutely pumping through these books despite the size, and despite that they're adult fantasy, I am pumping through them. I'm absolutely loving them, and the ending of each book has just got me so excited to read the next one. I'm really scared but excited to see how this ends. I feel like it's potentially gonna break my heart. I'm can't wait to see what happens with our main character Rin and where she takes this book, because the second book, The Dragon Empire, leaves off on a massive cliffhanger. So I am so excited, yet so scared, and really sad to be up to the final book of this trilogy. I don't want it to end. So those are the 7 books I need to read in March. I tried to do not too much adult fantasy or fantasy this month, as much as I could. Last month, I talked about it in my wrap up, but I got a bit burnt out reading, and I feel like because I've been finding so many good adult fantasy books recently, I've been reading too many and just like too much adult fantasy, so I tried to mix it up a little bit with the webtoon and with the classic. So hopefully I have a more successful reading month in March. I will let you know in the wrap up how I go. Thanks again for watching. All of my social media links are in the description below. If you like this video, give it a like or subscribe if you'd like to see more of my content. That would be fabulous. See you in whatever I post next. Bye!